Hey everyone, Hurricane Liz here, back for another Professor's podcast. And with me as usual, the man, the myth, the legend, Howie Ty. Howie, we got a fantastic interview today. And I got to say this, we usually have a sausage fest at almost all the events, but this is the second ever lady speaker. So Howie, I feel like you're almost turning over a new leaf. What is it that's so talented about this young lady that we have on today that just pretty much made you say, like, guys, sausage fest, the hot dog buns, the hot dogs, they're done and over with. We're going to go with some ladies this time.
Well, besides that, she's a good-looking girl. It's very rare to see a a girl that's in the Amazon space and stuff. So that's one of the reasons. And another reason is when I've been hearing her name around, and some of the people that within the communities been talking and saying that she's good at what she's doing. So just wanted to get her on and see what she got.
Absolutely. So before I intro her here in a second, I will say that the last time we did have a lady speaking at this event, and Destaney, who is our guest today, might not know this, she took everybody out to the club. I mean, she was like a total boss in general. So she, out of every event we've been to, was the first person that ever actually paid for all the bottle service, all the club service, and pretty much made everybody have a hangover on their very first day of the event. So as you can imagine, that made for some pretty awesome networking. Secrets got spilled before they were even meant to get started. And so this event is going to be a lot like that one. We do have a bartender that'll be on hand, on deck, not the whole day, because I know there are some of you guys out there at one of the other events in Las Vegas. Before the event even started, guys and gals wiped out the bottles that were in the cabinets. So we'll make sure that doesn't happen, but there will be a bartender on deck. So we've got a lot of fantastic festivities planned and a heck of a lot of fun. Now, just as a reminder to everyone, before I do introduce Destaney and kind of give you some background on her, October 4th and 5th is the day that event's going to take place in the fabulous city of Las Vegas. And Howie, tell me why you love to have these events so much in Vegas.
Besides, it's so close to me because right now I live in Los Angeles, so it's just a 3.5 hour drive over and back. So that's why.
That's the only reason why, Howie? I can tell you a lot of reasons why I like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, Howie. So guys and gals, the secrets that you do share on or at this event, I mean, people are going to hold it to their hearts. I'm telling you, this is a fantastic camaraderie, a fantastic brotherhood / sisterhood, and we are definitely going to have a ton of fun. So let me go ahead and introduce Destaney. Destaney, I'm usually known as the Butcher of Amazon, and I hate to almost have to butcher your name. I hope I get this right. I butchered Mayor's yesterday. I just ended up giving him a nickname before I butchered it anymore. I just started to call him the Wolf. But I'm going to go ahead and pronounce your name, and then I'm going to do a little bit of background on you, or get you to give us some background on you. And let's hope I don't butcher it, but this is Destaney Wishon. Did I get that right?
100% right, but I will take a badass nickname.
Awesome. I'll think of something as I speak to you, as I get to know you at the event. The more drinks I get in me, the more nicknames I might actually give you. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. But for everybody that's out there, let's go ahead and jump into Destaney with our standard first question. I know this is Howie's favorite thing, but let's just say, for example, Destaney, we like to put our speakers kind of on the spot. Let's say, for example, you obviously know Howie's the man, the myth, the legend, and you are in an elevator with him, and you've got just a quick elevator pitch to tell him who you are and why you are qualified to speak at his event, which is coming up October 4th and 5th. Tell us some more about that.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Destaney Wishon. I have been managing Amazon advertising campaigns for going on 5 years now. And I have worked with some of the largest brands selling on the platform. I have, flown out to the #1 largest 3P seller and had a lot of conversations and consulting with them. I've worked with the #1 product in the baby category as a whole. And currently, I think as a team, we're managing around $70 million worth of ad spend a year. So that's kind of my quick background.
That's amazing. And Howie, how did you actually come to meet Destaney? I'm curious. I know you said that you run in some of the same circles, or you've heard a lot of buzz about her name, but where exactly did you really hear the buzz, and where did she kind of come up on your radar? I know we travel the globe constantly, and you're always looking for the right type of speaker and the right type of fit for this particular mastermind, which is some of the most brilliant minds in all of Amazon.
Well, let's go back. It was kind of where I'm an apprentice, right? Or someone that I've been training, and he's been saying, "Oh, I think you should ask Destiny to your mastermind." So I said, okay. Then I went looking around, researching a little bit more on her and see if she's a good fit or not. Then I saw it looks pretty good. Then I was actually at one of the meetup in Los Angeles. I think it was Laguna Niguel's, like some kind of a meetup before the Prosper event, and that's where I saw her and met her. And then I actually asked her on the spot there, and then she said yes.
And here we are.
Yeah, amazing. So, Destiny, do you? Let me ask you this question. We had. I don't know if you're familiar. You know Tim Jordan yesterday, and there was another guy. Which guy was it? Your drinking buddy, Howie? It was Tim Jordan. How hard have you found it to get out to some events, if there's any? Like, I obviously have seen a few more bump up on the radar since COVID, but how difficult have you found it this past year and a half, just kind of networking and staying in tune with what's happening on Amazon, since we've kind of all been almost secluded in our own homes?
It's been pretty difficult. Thankfully, if you know a few of the right players in the space, a lot of opportunities open up for you, which is why small masterminds are so incredibly important, because if you build those relationships, we all know each other some way or another. We're all connected. So that helped a lot. Knowing people like Tim was how I originally got invited to the Laguna Beach, and kind of that's just been amazing. So moving to a physical environment is going to be 10x, because it's definitely been complex virtually.
Yeah, and Tim, the other day ago when he was on this and recording, he challenged me to figure out what was his drink of choice. He said he wouldn't tell, so obviously I told him, well, buddy, then you're going to have to just sample a heck of a bunch of them. So Stephanie, let's throw on a random question there. What is your drink of choice? And then after that, I will tell you when you start to pour down Howie's throat, secrets really spill out.
The drink of choice that I'll have an issue with every single time is champagne. I'm good in every other environment, but if we start, throwing back some champagne, mimosas at 8 a.m., we'll have issues.
We're going to have to make sure that the bartender has some champagne on deck, Howie. And obviously, we're also going to have to make sure that the bartender has Howie's favorite, which is Don Julio. Howie and Don Julio are the best of buds. So obviously, Destiny, a lot of being successful on Amazon is learning to have fun and kind of going out to some of these events. Like you mentioned, you actually know who Tim was. So I'm surprised at that, but I'm not, since he did tell me that he pretty much lives and breathes these things and he's always hanging out. And what are the biggest topics that you feel coming to this mastermind you'll be able to talk about, and or what ideas do you have so far of what you'd like to talk about at this event?
Before saying that, I just want to let you know that you want to do your best of the best because of the $7,000 grand prize, right? The prize of the winner who gets voted as the best speaker will get, I believe you said we usually give a belt. Is that a belt?
They're still getting the belt, Howie. They're getting the belt no matter what.
All right, they're gonna get a world champion, like a world champion belt for best speaker. It's pretty good. It looks like a real boxing belt. And then you'll get like $7,000. So we want to hear from you. And this masterminds that we hold is usually really high end. So we want to make sure that speech is like something that no one heard before, or that is not just any presentation that you kind of do out there. So go ahead, Destiny.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I think has been fun in the Amazon industry is how quickly advertising is changing right now. You can be a full-time manager and not keep up with all the new rollouts. So I give a lot of feedback to the Amazon product teams because I'm very candid and real. So I kind of can stay in touch with all the new rollouts and things like that. So what I'm really planning on speaking on is like the change of direction of Amazon. They're focused on brand, all the rollouts and opportunities they're giving us to make your advertising more of a marketing style platform. We can have custom creatives, we have DSP, which allows us to see all the audience consumer data that people don't think Amazon has. So that's a lot of what I'm looking at talking about.
That's pretty exciting. Howie, how excited are you about that, Howie? And what do you have most to look forward to about what Destiny just said?
Well, a lot of people that talk about DSP is very, very on the top surface, not deep enough, not on the like we want to hear the nitty gritty, the stuff that really works. So probably the ones that she's talking about, those high-end sellers, that what do they use? How do they use it? Where is it from top of the funnel DSP to middle funnel DSP to the bottom funnel DSP? How do you make sure that we get the 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 orders from, oh, I guess I would say, like, take away from your competitors, as well as how we're gonna make sure that the orders come in, and it's like, the whole funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, Destiny, you having so much experience, obviously working with really high level sellers and people that have a lot of money to spend, what's one trend that you've seen a lot of them moving towards as we kind of close out the year, as we kind of close out? It seems like COVID's closed out, but then it seems like it's starting again. It's kind of almost like just out there. But what trend do you see among the big money on Amazon? What are they doing right now?
I think one of the biggest things has been like the hot mess with supply chain. Supply chains put a lot of pressure on brands and really made them realize how much they need to diversify and be more flexible. I think everyone got complacent with how easy Amazon was, in the last couple of years, but now we have bigger money entering the space. We have different legal restrictions coming in supply chain. So it's really forced brands to be around the thought leaders that know exactly how to have that next competitive advantage. You start playing against, Coke and Pepsi in these spaces, and you need to be damn good at what you do. So we're seeing like more flexibility, more effort, like for thought leadership and things like that.
Yeah, I think Destiny brings up a fantastic point, Howie, and something that we haven't actually really touched on. We have been focused a lot on external traffic, and obviously external traffic is one of the big things to talk about. It's what everybody who's everybody on Amazon, or everybody that wants to rank something on Amazon, is talking about. But one of the things that kind of been in the background, obviously plaguing the mid-level Amazon seller, and I'm talking about like maybe below $5 million, is the supply chain. Like, what kind of strategies and or tactics, or are any strategies and or tactics going to be discussed, Howie, by you and or anybody else that of how to kind of help these mid-level sellers combat the rising prices of that and all the problems with that?
I'm actually not sure about that question. We were mainly looking at ranking and external traffic, but I'll look into it, see if there's anything that we can actually help talk about regarding that topic.
Yeah, we've actually had a couple of people ask on some of the calls. That's why I was kind of curious, but it was just a random question thrown out there because Destiny kind of like mentioned it. So I thought it'd be a good point to ask Howie. You obviously have your ear to the wall. You know all the things going on in China. You know a lot of tricks. You know a lot of tactics. So I thought I'd just toss it out there, see what you could figure out, Howie. We need to put some portfolio in you.
I was at a trans hub, one of the biggest in in LA. So we're working on some kind of project where our customers would be able to, from China directly to LA, being able to have a warehouse to be able to pick, pack, ship, and as well to ship to the FBM. So we're trying to have a third-party logistics warehouse right now, setting up right now.
Yeah, I've still seen like a lot of these like Shopify drop shippers. A lot of them are still doing quite well being able to ship out of China and stuff like that. So that is still working if you have a legitimate drop shipping supplier in China. But I was just curious that question. I got one for you now, Destiny. These are just randomly popping in my head. What kind of opportunities do you see for the coming year for Amazon sellers that are out there? They're still like, they still manage to survive post-COVID. And I know we said that it's a lot more challenging. It was easy back then. But what kind of opportunities do you see for those sellers that have still survived everything that's happened so far?
One of the biggest opportunities is Amazon's rolling out a bunch of advertising assets that allow us to really tell our brand story. So we now have custom imagery for sponsored display, custom imagery for sponsored brands. Video and search is expanding their advertising placements as well. And it's a big advantage because your large CPG companies typically do not want to move on these creative placements because they take a lot of time and effort to build them out for 5,000 SKUs. So I've literally consulted with brands for video and search, and I was like, hey, you need to push these. It's amazing. And they came back with, we can't, afford a video budget for all of our ASINs. Like, that is such a huge opportunity for mid-level sellers because we can get on it immediately. We have the assets and the contacts to make sure we can bust out videos quick enough and take advantage of that inventory before anyone else does. So everything around creative is just such a huge opportunity because it takes time to manage, and a lot of big companies don't have time for all the minute details.
Yeah, and one question is like I kind of always have the problem with my particular brands and what I work on. The problem of creative, particularly video. Have you seen any kind of what kind of creatives are you working with in terms of video that work? Like, is it testimonial type videos? Is it out of the box type things, or what's actually working for that type of advertising?
We have a split test quite a few different things. And the biggest takeaway we had is when we split test professional videography with, Amazon's really terrible PowerPoint videos, the PowerPoint videos actually had a higher click-through rate. Now, the reason being is I think customers don't want to see commercials all over the platform. They want to see something that looks native to Amazon. They don't want to be, conned into clicking on a commercial. So that was huge for us because then we could recommend to all of our sellers to just get something done. That's what matters. And then within that, the biggest calls we've had is have a really strong opening scene. It's a pay-per-click model. You need to stop and grab their attention. So we've seen like just larger product sizes do really well. Unboxing can do well, but if it's a really slow entry, it's not because no one wants to stop and wait like an influencer type of video. And then things that are really focused, zeroed in on the product, less commercial, like you typically see on OTT or any type of TV format.
Yeah, interestingly enough, when you do advertise on YouTube, the same thing holds true. People tend to kind of glance over the commercial type thing. So I don't know how many times I've seen that Monday.com one, but I'm like, oh, it's Monday.com.
Yep.
You see a guy holding his iPhone up to his own face and he's got an interesting background. You kind of tend to stop and want to figure out what is this guy talking about?
Yes.
So I guess it goes along the same lines with Amazon, but some people would think like, oh, it's got to look very commercially. And I think I just made that word up, commercially.
I'll take it.
Howie, we haven't actually asked your opinion on that, Howie. So I think people would love out there if you kind of give us your insight to what the opportunities are for coming up into the end of the year and into early next year. We've not heard the Howie input. Give us some Howie input here.
Before I say anything, I wanted to ask Destaney some questions. I wanted to ask you, so you do talk to all these big sellers, you do work with them. So can you tell me what are the big sellers doing right now that middle to small sellers aren't doing, so that the audience can kind of get idea of what are they missing out on?
One of the biggest things, and this is more of your wheelhouse, is focusing on their organic ranking and then making sure that they're pushing advertising presence. So anyone who types in any search terms right now, the top of search is almost all ads. And then you have your top 4 organically ranked products, and then you have editorial recommendations, and then you have more sponsored placements, then you have a video and search ad. Like, it's absolutely insane. No one is seeing your products if you're on the bottom of search. Like, you may drive some volume, but it's so oversaturated that you have to get in those top 4 organically placed placements, or you have to re-look at how you spend your advertising dollars. It's no longer like easy money, So getting to that top of search has been huge. And knowing how expensive things are with supply chain costs and ad costs, a lot of our brands have started to zoom out and look at the long-term level of, yes, I may lose money right now, but if I can get into organically ranked position, I know I'll probably hold there and, drive a lot of incremental profitability over the long term.
I see. The second question is, we want to see if you can show us what you got, do you have any little tricks or hacks that would help our audience here, that you can help and offer to them?
Little tricks or hacks with Amazon advertising. That's a really broad question. One of the biggest things I would kind of recommend is utilizing sources like brand analytics to make sure you're doing more expansive keyword research. So when PPC is getting really expensive, diving into some of the long tail things, looking into doing sponsored display. A lot of people are staying away from sponsored display because it's pretty scary and overwhelming, but you have the ability to target Twitch streamers. You have the ability to target someone based on the fact that they love cats. A lot of that stuff is opening up a window of ad inventory for people. I have a lot of small things we can dive into, but I don't know how granular you want to get in terms of tricks.
Whatever you can give them.
Save that for the mastermind, Howie.
Okay. So going
We're
back
trying to get all of Destiny's tricks right now.
so going back to the question you were asking me, what do I see in 2022 or and on? So right now it's more and more about external traffic, ads. You're gonna have a lot more people within right now, since there's so many aggregators out there. They have money, they're gonna be able to hire a lot of talent. We're talking about Google AdWords, Google Shopping, Google Display, Video and Display 360. We're going to talk about there's Bing. We're going to talk about there's all these different social ads network, media buying, things like from now it's going to be the the internet marketing, the affiliates time to shine because they can do that. They know how to do that, bring in the traffic. So now it's going to be the bridge that I was always talking about from Amazon sellers to the affiliate and internet marketing world combine, kind of coming together. So there's going to be, I see a lot of that, and I think it's going to be a lot harder for small sellers to, really sell because you have to really know a lot. And with that, you probably would need to have a lot more of a bigger team and more money to spend.
Yeah, and which brings me to a question for Destaney. Destaney, what platform do you see most of this big money investing in right now?
What do you mean exactly?
I mean by that advertising platform. I should have been a little bit more specific. Is it more like Amazon advertising? Is it more still Facebook? Is it TikTok? Or which platform do you see that most of the big money is really putting a lot of their resources into?
Due to, regulations with some of the Apple rollouts and things like that, we did see a decent shift towards Amazon, as well as retail being closed. So typically a lot of people invest in these top of the funnel strategies. They would pay for in-store marketing capabilities and things like that. Last year was, a little bit more complex because a lot of your large brands move that money over into Amazon. So I think Amazon's still going to be a huge player. I think TikTok's also going to be big because it's more natural and it does bridge that social commerce gap, like mentioned. Walmart, I think, is really making some big moves investing in this space right now. And I think that's something that we're all kind of sleeping on because the platform's not ideal, but they're still the largest retailer. It'll get to the point of Walmart being a really strong player as well.
Yeah, Walmart's still very glitchy, so I've got a Walmart stores and just they deal with on the back end. But Howie, anything you have to add to Destaney before we say goodbye and I give details of how people can attend the event?
I think I asked all my questions already.
Howie, you're on a roll today, buddy.
Yeah.
So obviously the event is October 4th and 5th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Destaney, that was amazing tidbits that you gave there. I can't wait till you divulge the real secrets and tactics that Howie's trying to put the pressure on you. He was trying to get them right now. So Howie was ready to go. But Howie, remember, you got to make sure that there is champagne on deck for Destaney to spill some of these secrets, Howie. You got to know how to do it the right way, Howie.
So do you like to drink, Destaney?
Oh, I like to drink.
So what I think Liz asked, what was your drink of choice?
Champagne.
It was champagne, yes.
Okay, so get champagne. And we gotta get a lot of it, and then she's gonna show her all
orange juice.
ESP secrets.
Yeah, we'll spill everything.
Amazing, Howie. We will get some champagne for Destaney. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more drinks on deck. We've got a bar, an open bar at the end of each day, and a lot of special festivities planned. And on top of that, as Howie mentioned earlier, we do have a grand prize of $7,000 to the top speaker, as voted by the attendees, and the smartest marketer, which will be one of you all who will be in the house revealing their best secrets and tactics. And that prize is $2,500 for the smartest marketer. So almost $10,000 in total cash money. Howie will be on deck. What do you got behind you today, Howie? The San Francisco Bridge. He's always changing the backdrop. Yesterday, he had his Men in Black backdrop. So he obviously will have his suitcase, his shades, and his little black suit with his black tie to give out that prize. cash money to the top speakers. So I'm super fired up for that event. I know a lot of people out there. To get more information on that event, head on over to howardtie.com/elite 2021, like the year. Again, that's howardtie.com/elite 2021. And I think we've said pretty much everything. Anyone else have any last words before I give that website one more time and we get ready to rock and roll and get the champagne and Don Julio on deck? Oh, everybody's ready to go. Everybody's ready to be there. Fantastic. Destaney, thanks again. Howie, as usual, thanks again. And again, it's howardtie.com/elite 2021. I'll see you all there. I'm super fired up. I hope you are too.
Bye, guys.